What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. We're still doing 3 videos a week right now, so we don't want you to miss out on any of those future videos. So make sure you're subscribed, turn the notifications on, and all that good stuff. So today we are talking about a viewer suggested video. You know, this is actually one of the comments that I got on one of my recent videos. This was actually a members only video where we did a deep dive into topwater. So that leads me into, if you guys are interested in becoming a member of the channel, please check out and consider becoming a member. It's a really cool opportunity to allow you guys to get more connected with us here and enjoy some more content, some really deep dive content into certain techniques. But a question that I got asked in the most recent video about topwater fishing is when and why I like to throw a feathered treble hook on the back of my topwater versus a non-feathered treble hook on the back of my topwater. So we're going to dive into that, walk you through the situations, what I think, why I choose it, and just go from there. So if you guys are ready, let's jump in. Let's talk about feathered treble hooks. Okay, so right here I have 2 similar sized topwater baits. You know, they're very different brands. I think this one is a Mega Bass. This one is actually a Bagley. Great topwater baits right here. 2 excellent topwater baits. We kind of dive into all of that. But this right here, you see one of them has a feathered treble hook and one of them does not. And that's going to do a couple things. So, you know, for me, I really like adding a feathered treble hook when I'm looking to bulk up the profile a little bit. Obviously, you know, you can just see having those feathers tailing the bait actually adds a little bit of length to the bait. It acts like a little bit of a tail following that bait. So it's going to add a little bit of size to the topwater bait that you're throwing. You know, it really looks like a tail if you're trying to imitate a bigger forage. You know, if you're putting it on a big giant topwater bait, a feathered treble hook's a great option to try and imitate a tail of a big injured gizzard shad or something that it may be. But really the main deciding factor for me when I'm wanting to add a feathered treble hook or not is going to be how fast that I'm fishing the bait. You know, if I'm fishing it very fast, moving it quick, not letting it sit very long, I actually don't like a feathered treble hook. You know, I want that bait to be able to move, dart, dash, dive, dodge. I think that's the line from Dodgeball, right? Something like that. Dive, dip, duck, dodge. I want that bait to be doing all of that with minimal resistance behind that bait. You know, adding the feathers on there actually adds a little bit of a resistance, so it actually slows the bait down a little bit. So if I want to move that bait really, really fast, I'm not going to have a feathered treble hook on there. So that's going to be for more of your burning your topwaters, you know, your schooling fish, something where you're not wanting it to sit in one place for very long. Now, on the flip side of that, when I am going to add a feathered treble hook to the back of my topwater, that is going to be when I want to fish the bait slower. So I'm throwing this bait over top of something where I think a fish is. Maybe it's a grass line, maybe it's a stump, somewhere where I think that fish may be sitting on a piece of structure or on the bottom, and I want that topwater to slowly work over top of him and really slow and kind of entice him up to it. That's when I'm going to add that feathered treble hook because it adds a little drag, it slows it down, and it bulks up that profile that maybe will add a little drawing power to that fish that may be sitting on the bottom or that piece of cover that you're throwing it at. So that's the #1 reason, and really, you know, the main reason that I'm going to add a feathered treble hook. You know, another option may be whenever you extremely clean water or a little bit dirtier water. You know, for me, if I was in extremely clean water, I would not want that extra feather on there. If I'm in a little bit dirtier water, I want to bulk up the profile, that's when I'm going to add the feather onto the bait. So a couple scenarios, I'm curious your guys' thoughts. So if you guys have a rule of thumb on topwater and feathered treble hooks, be sure and drop it in the comments below and let me know your thoughts on all of this and when and why you like to use a feathered treble hook. Now, choosing the right feather treble hook, that can be a little bit tricky. You know, there's not a whole lot of great options on the market. You know, there is a few that you can buy that are already tied. But for me, I actually like to tie them myself. It's really quite simple. I believe we have a video on the channel of how to do that. But if you guys are interested, we can make a new video and I'll walk you through the whole process. So if you guys are interested in that, again, drop that in the comments, let me know. We can create a new video and tie up a few feathered treble hooks for you guys. But you know, there's a few options you can buy. I know, I think Gamakatsu sells one that's pre-tied, and I can't think of any others off the top of my head. But I like to tie my own because that allows me to customize the hook that I can put on there. You know, I can choose any treble hook that I want. You know, if you guys know me, I love to use trocar hooks. I have trocar treble hooks for pretty much all of my big topwater baits. And I'm able to choose the hook that I use and love all the time and tie those feathers on there, so I know that I'm getting the hook that I use and have confidence in all the time with those feathers on there, in addition to my topwater bait. That you know, I just feel like that's the best route to go if you're looking to get extremely dialed in on your hook selection. So I choose to tie my own, but there's a few options out there if you guys are looking to buy your own from the tackle shop. And as always, you know, some of the baits come with them that generally those are very good hooks on most topwaters, so those will work well. But again, I like the customization factor of tying my own. I can change the colors of the feathers and the flash, and obviously the correct hook size and hook brand or model that I like to throw. So hopefully you guys learned something from this video. It's topwater season, so get out there and throw a topwater around, catch some bass on it. Hopefully this video will help you guys, and you can use this information to apply it to your own fishing and get out there and catch some more bass. You know, that's the goal of this whole channel, is to help you guys catch more bass. So hopefully you can use this information and get the job done. So appreciate you guys as always. Leave me those likes and comments down below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time.